The colony world of Arcadia had represented humanity's bright promise of peaceful coexistence amongst the stars, a verdant haven where the dream of defying Earth's bitter history might finally be realized. Yet those dreams twisted into nightmares as alien forces encroached with rapacious intent. What began as uneasy territorial disputes and trade conflicts soon erupted into open aggression against the fledgling human outpost. Out here in the galactic periphery, Arcadia found itself isolated and vulnerable, its pleas for diplomacy ignored by the core world authorities. Humanity had wished only to forge its own quiet path amongst the heavens, but that illusion of autonomous destiny was violently shattered. In the decades that followed, pattern repeated across dozens of human-claimed systems and frontier colonies. Overreaching alien powers bullied and annexed territories with impunity, scattering humanity's holdings through proxies and subterfuge. The naive notion that mere isolationism could ensure security had proven fatally flawed. On embattled colonies like Arcadia's cradle, unease escalated as supply chains withered and populist factions called for increasingly drastic measures against the encircling aggression. Some advocated appeasement through incremental territorial concessions, while others demanded mobilization for an overdue reckoning. When the first shot was finally discharged amid the fragile political turmoil, none could predict the apocalyptic violence that would follow. In mere solar days, a belligerent system-raising campaign erupted, as xenoforming terraformers enacted vengeful contingency plans never disclosed. The cataclysmic bombardment reduced Arcadia's cradle to a befouled wasteland, its atmosphere ignited to sear the surface in nuclear fire. As millions perished in the inferno, shockwaves of dissent reverberated across the human sphere. On worlds like Heraclitus and Thessia, hardline survivalist factions seized power and triggered draconian military crackdowns. Populations went into lockdown as militias formed from the resentful ranks of those whose loved ones had been sacrificed on Arcadia. The Sol Authority bureaucrats made feckless appeals for calm, but their words fell on deafened ears within the disaffected outer colonies. Simmering for decades, fury against the Core's failed policies reached critical mass. As the embers of atrocity fouled Arcadia's skies, the unraveling consensus fractured irreparably. Hardline splinters broke from the Sol Authority and began targeting alien commercial shipping with legitimized privateer actions. The first human-Xeno war had dawned with both sides believing they fought in self-defense against existential aggression. Aboard Thul station, outmatched groundside garrisons prepared for bitter last stands, while refugees from the outer colonies converged with haunted eyes. The narrow halls of Thul station echoed with the graveled rasps of civilians bracing for the inevitable siege. Though lightly armed, these were the last unbroken dregs of humanity's fringe, a people too proud and exhausted to abandon their worlds a final time. Elisha moved among the tattered ranks, her father's wolfish eyes boring into her from beneath creased brows. "This is where we make our stand, girl. Let the Xeno bastards come try to root us from these hollows." She nodded grimly, knowing their stockpiled munitions and patrimony of hatred could sustain them for only so long against the massing alien armadas. Sooner than later, the end would come for them all on this storm-racked rock. The first shockwave impacts rocked the base camp, shrill alarm klaxons mingling with the cries of frightened children. Elisha grabbed up her rifle and moved towards the defensive trenches, joining the grizzled militants as they poured disciplined fire into the first Xeno breaching parties. For a dozen cycles, the battle raged across Thul's turbulent ashlands. Gaunt human snipers picking off alien scouts, while jury-rigged lasercom buoys broadcasted frantic calls for reinforcement. A forlorn hope, for the Sol forces had been routed in the system's outer reaches. Yet as their numbers dwindled and alien dropships unleashed their final armored push, Elisha witnessed bright new signatures blooming amidst the station's tactical holograms. Lancing upwards through the planet's cloud decks came hulking capital-grade signatures, the unmistakable silhouettes of orbital battlecruisers. As the first Allied reinforcements traded blistering broadside fire with the alien fleet, smaller human frigate signatures flooded the combat space. The rogue privateer captains had answered their people's call, uniting Bajo motley warlord champions in a defiant show of solidarity. Within the hour, the Xeno forces had been routed from Thul's surface, their ground forces outmatched and trapped. Aboard the human flagship Leviathan, a new breed of commander oversaw daring hit-and-run tactics against the disorganized foe. Elisha watched the Armistice uplinks transmitting, finally allowing herself to slump against the Ferrocrete walls. They'd earned themselves a respite, a chance to lick their wounds and forge new allegiances. Her people would endure alongside any who embraced their righteous defiance. The long road towards reclamation yawned ahead, but they'd restored a flicker of hope. Humanity's fury could yet reforge an interstellar destiny for those unwilling to go extinct with quiet resignation.